Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.
Hit that bell because the tea don't stop. Y'all, we got to get into this video because I'm really trying to really think that our girl Shamea is different, but it just ain't looking like that, y'all. It ain't looking like that. And I read y'all comments. What y'all said was, that's true. Birds of a feather flock together. Because, honey, I can't tell y'all how many birds I just let flap by themselves. Because I said, oh, girl, we don't do that. Like, girl, we don't do that. So I had to get rid of so many people in my life because just what y'all said, birds of a feather flock together. And I said, I ain't want them birds flocking by me because we don't do that, honey. But baby, it is something not adding up with Shamea. And, you know, I like Shamea, but I really believe she is a replica of Porsha. I don't give a damn what nobody say. All the information that I'm receiving, what I thought ain't it. Okay. So I believe that she is in fact a replica of Porsha. There was a statement that Shamea made, said Porsha said that her, you know, she need to shave her cat or something. And I mean, I hadn't thought about it, but I'm starting to wonder, girl, how she knew what you had down there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what y'all was doing so that she saw your kitty cats because, girl, but I guess that does happen. But something ain't adding up. And, you know, it could very well be a situation where they was, you know, out here trying to find them some rich men's, honey. And it looks like Shamea, you know, she got the better end of the stick because, you know, she did get her a rich man. And, you know, and Porsha's still out here struggling, trying to be in a man's house that now don't want her. I mean, she filed for divorce. She should have just stayed with Simon and just rode that wave on out because now you is in a house of a man that don't want you there and your broke ass don't even have enough money to buy a house comparable to the one you want. So you out here looking like a whole homeless fool all in the mall begging people to subscribe to your damn YouTube channel. You is done. You done hit rock bottom because aren't you supposed to be a reality star? What reality star do y'all see that's in the mall telling people to subscribe to their YouTube channel? That is the dumbest shit I've ever saw in my life. You are a regular ass chick. You ain't nothing different about you. You out here struggling. You struggling worse than some of these regular YouTubers. You out here trying to be one, honey. And child, it's a mess. But listen, I don't believe Shamea is what we thought she is, honey. I'm going to say it again. I think she is every bit of what we're seeing, and her real true self is coming out, and it's ugly because I really thought this lady was somebody else. And now I'm understanding because I was like, how did she get to be Porsha's friend? Porsha's friend. Like, how did she get to be her friend? But it makes a whole lot of sense, honey. And Shamea doubles down because, I mean, Shamea done doubled down, which is so crazy that she still have some negativity toward what her friend said about another woman's husband. Now, here's the deal. You can't ride in relationships until the freaking wheels fall off, because when people start making decisions that affect you and your character, it is time for you to take a step back. Okay. Now, the fact that Miss Shamea didn't see nothing wrong with it, but found every reason that it should not apply to her, told me exactly who she was, because I would need to know Angela personally. I would need to work with Angela personally. It's a character thing to me. Don't be saying shit to nobody husband. Don't be playing with nobody husband. Don't do that. And then a married woman that does not take that seriously lets me know exactly where her values are. And it seems like there may be more to this relationship with Shamea and her husband, being that she seems like she is really I get her husband wants to have another child, but she did a video in which she basically said she could die trying to have a child. But the fact that she still wants to have one and she has two, I was trying to understand that, but I believe from, what I saw now, maybe she's going to get a surrogate, because if I had one child, or definitely if I have two, I ain't finna have three. If the people going to tell me I'm going to die, because if I die, then the two I have going to be left by themselves. So I think there is definitely more to her relationship than meets the eye. And I believe we are starting to see, how she responds to certain things, because some of y'all said in the comments that Shamea was all about the money from way back when. And I'm starting to go back and look at those videos, because I watched The Real Housewives of Atlanta from inception, but I got to be honest, I didn't pay a lot of attention to Shamea. I'm one of those people, I'm glued down to to TV, and to certain people come on, I may run out and get, go to the bathroom or run in the kitchen or something. So I miss a lot of her episodes back then. But I thought it would make sense to come on here and talk about this, because look at what Shamea had the nerve to say to Angela after she apologized. Shamea says, "Damned if I do, damned if I don't. I have learned the hard way that I need to mind my business. I apologize about laughing and my part in it." But why would she laugh about somebody saying they're going to F somebody's husband? It could be, honey, because if somebody F her, she ain't gonna leave them, because where's she going? I don't know, but I think that's crazy that someone has to pretty much tell you how you shouldn't do that, but you don't see anything wrong with it. That's weird. She said, "That's not my fight." Angela Oakley can forgive the person that actually said it, then surely my laughter can be forgiven. She doesn't seem to understand. It wasn't that Angela forgave Porsha. Porsha is a bird brain. So it's like Angela is like, okay. But what Angela is saying, me and Shamea established something prior to me and Porsha. Now you're going to see her and Porsha in the episode playing tennis at her rental property. Of course, Porsha can't come to her house, okay? So she and Porsha are establishing, but what Shamea does not seem to understand is her and Angela established that already, but she doesn't seem to understand why what she did would have been more hurtful to Angela than what Porsha did. Okay, she doesn't seem to get that. She said, "I've never said that it was okay for her to say that. Furthermore, I don't have to publicly chastise people. I can hold them accountable privately. Bottom line, she's a grown woman, not my problem, not my fight." So she's saying she doesn't have to publicly chastise Porsha. Darling, you are on a reality show. And if you keep on doing this, they won't ask you back, because the fact that you are on a reality show, we need you to do it publicly, because that is how we tune in to the show. So Shamea is basically saying that she can, or she's saying she perhaps said something to Porsha, but she's not going to pretty much tell us what it is. And I don't believe it. I don't believe it for one. I don't believe it. It didn't happen, because Shamea laughed about it. She didn't take it seriously. So how can she asked Porsha about something off camera when she didn't even see a problem with it. That doesn't make sense. Shamea is very much given. She is exactly who Porsha is. I'm sorry, it's giving that. It's really giving. You have to understand, we're seeing her in a different light because Shamea has all the things that Porsha doesn't have. She has everything that Porsha wants. So therefore, we ain't, able to see her in her ratchet state, because the things that Porsha wants, and those are the things that Shamea already has. So we're not seeing her in that total ratchet, stage as we see Porsha thirsty stage. We don't see Shamea in that because she does, have a husband. But I believe prior to that husband, I believe she was exactly who Porsha is today. So Angela says, if my memory serves me correctly, you didn't apologize for your part until Porsha's event, which I accepted. At the Bailey Q, you actually doubled down and said you didn't see anything wrong with your response, bringing up jokes about your uncle. And we saw that on camera where Shamea was making jokes about her uncle that passed away. And she said she thought it was comical because they buried him, I think she said, like a preacher, and he had never stepped his foot in a church. At which time Angela said, I don't think it's appropriate really for us to even move forward because Shamea thought everything was so funny. She said, hence the end of the conversation, which Angela was like, okay, we just gonna wrap this up, okay? And Angela says, it's actually okay. I misjudged and had a higher expectation for you. Isn't that funny, Angela? You said, it's okay. I misjudged and had a higher expectation for you because we did too, okay? And a higher expectation for you. So Angela was like, I misjudged you. I had a higher expectation for you because she thought. We did too, Angela. Again, I move different with my friends. It's perfectly fine. I now understand. So Shamea is pretty much doubling down on everything and like, girl, whatever. And I think that's really messed up. I think it's really, really messed up. And I don't care what anybody says, that brings into question who Shamea really is. See, it's only the little things that people can do or how they react, and it's going to tell us about their total personality. If y'all don't know that's how Shamea gets down, you should have figured it out by how that question was answered. And Shamea continues to say, it's not my fight. It ain't about your fight. I see a lot of fights that's not my fight, but I'm going to speak up, and say, hey, that's not cool. And then Shamea says, I don't have to do it publicly. You do because you're on a reality show. In fact, if you don't do things publicly, you won't be brought back because you'll be seen as boring. Okay. So we cannot forget about all of these signs that we are suddenly seeing about Miss Shamea. This one right here that has been out forever. Porsha thanking Shamea for hooking her up with a man who was married. And I know y'all gonna say what Fallon was doing. We ain't talking about Fallon being a hoe. We're talking about Porsha being a hoe, and we're talking about Shamea hooking her friend up with somebody's husband. That is what we're talking about, which goes into play who they both are. It just goes into play who they both are, and they're going to get with these men who got this money by any means necessary. That's what it goes into. And it's just pretty much drawing a picture of who is Shamea because she's not, I know she not who I thought she was, because just watching this, I'm like, this girl is giving something a little bit different. But y'all know what I think? This is what I think. Either Porsha and Charles Oakley has conversated before, or maybe Porsha was gonna sink her hoofs in him or something because something just ain't adding up with Charles Oakley for the simple fact that Porsha continues to bring up somebody else's husband, which is crazy considering her shady ass past with sucking on people's husbands, boyfriends, more husbands though, honey. She loves people's husbands. I mean, my earring just fell off. She loves people's husbands. I mean, we ain't even got to say allegedly because that is what it has shown. But this is one thing, y'all, that I want y'all to get into because this is something that I wondered when she first said it. And I said, why is this girl talking about anybody's husband?
Oh, Angela, but I hear her husband is everything.
Huh? I don't know Angela, but I hear her husband is everything. Why does she constantly talk about Charles? She's trying to let Charles know that she's ready to bite his hot dog off, suck it, lick it, because we know she like hot dogs. Because Dennis, he got a lot of hot dogs. So it's something ain't adding up because she is consistently bringing up Charles.
Now, I don't know Angela, but I hear her husband is everything.
I don't know Angela. You don't know Angela, but you hear her husband is everything. Isn't that weird? I would see her saying, or should say, I don't know Charles, but I hear his wife is everything. Why is she always hanging on somebody's husband balls? Like, this just don't make sense.
I don't know Angela, but I hear her husband is everything.
Have y'all ever had a threesome? No.
Then you don't know Angela, but you done research her husband balls and you know his balls is everything. Then you ask her, have y'all ever had a threesome? She want to be the third person. That's very, very odd to continue to bring up Charles' name. Go on her Amazon Live before the show airs. Oh, I don't know about Angela, but I hear her husband is everything. Do y'all have threesomes?
No threesome. I did hear your husband was spicy.
I did hear your husband was spicy. That's weird, y'all. Y'all got to pick up on these clues. So I heard her husband is everything. Do y'all have threesomes? I did hear your husband was spicy. Angela needs to. This don't.
Oh, yeah. Now I heard something about Charles.
Now I heard something about Charles. Are we adding this up?
Really? Wait a minute. Talk about it. No, wait. No. What is
Are y'all picking up on this? Why does she constantly have Charles Oakley's name in her mouth? If she not begging, if she ain't begging to eat his eggplant, I don't know what that is because that is exactly what Porsha is doing. Now, again, I don't know if she has had Charles' number before. I'm not even sure if something went on between the two of them, but I feel like she's on this thing to ruin their marriage. But I promise you, Angela, if you better stay with your husband because Porsha will suck his balls. Now, you already know that. But yeah, we got to play this again.
But I hear her husband is everything.
Have y'all ever had a threesome?
I don't know Angela, but I hear her husband is everything. Have y'all ever had a threesome? She said, if I can't get them, I'm going to be a threesome with them.
No threesome. I did hear your husband was.
I did hear your husband is spicy. Is she doing a research paper on Charles balls?
Spicy. You can be. Oh, yeah. Now I heard something about Charles. Really? Wait a minute. Talk about it. No, wait. No.
I heard something about Charles. Are y'all seeing this? Like, I know I'm not the only one that's picking up on this. She is telling Angela everything. Angela, keep this hoe away from your husband. Watch this hoe. Don't bring this hoe to your house. Don't ever bring her to your house. Because at the end of the day, something is going on here. And it's crazy because Shamea being best friends with this hoe, Shamea and her, they the same person with different names. I feel like even Shamea knows what's really going on. I really, really feel like it. Just watching everything that we've watched and everything that has played out so far. I feel like there's something that they're trying to set up with regards to Angela's husband. I don't know what it is, but Porsha has threw this man name out there too many times. And I believe Shamea knows, which is partially why she's not saying nothing.